What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 725 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. We are so back, and I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Did you miss us? I'm sure you did. We obviously have a lot to catch up on. But before we do that, I have a $20 super chat from Shane H. Wilder. Welcome back, Brett and Mary. Congratulations on 200K, actually 217K. Now, how to get that silver play button. I have some ideas I put in a PCC short. LOL, it is great to have y'all back. It's better than any silly play button. I agree.
Yeah.
It's so good to be back. And as you can probably tell, we are in our brand new studio in a whole new location. So yeah, it's a whole saga, I'm sure, how we ended up here. And I want to ask you about it, Brett, because you weren't in Nashville for the past week like I was.
Yeah. So, as far as hold on, I'm bumping the mics there. Somebody said mic's quiet as hell. Yes, we're gonna work through the kinks here and get everything figured out. You first. If we're gonna trauma dump about the whole,
are we gonna trauma dump?
Go ahead. You first.
Well, I have less room to talk because I wasn't, packing all of our stuff and taking it over here and setting up all of these, cameras on the walls and the lights and everything.
Okay, so the funny part was, guys, we spent a week, moving everything over here. We put everything in a U-Haul on day one, brought all of the equipment over, and I forgot exactly one thing, and that was the money for the money guns.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I did a last, trip to the studio, what used to be our studio, our now defunct studio, because I wanted to pick up all of my stuffed animals, which are not in my background anymore.
Yeah. I
actually felt like us moving to the new studio is a good point to graduate from that.
Yeah, away from the stuffed animals.
I know that it hasn't been that long. Yeah. But it makes a little more sense to me that would be in my background when I started out at 21 than now at 24.
You've evolved.
Maybe I've evolved and I need to mature my aesthetic a little bit. But I picked up all the stuffed animals and stuffed them into my car, and then there was a basket of money. And I asked you if you needed me to bring the money, and it's not here because you didn't answer me. I left.
Well, no. So what it was is I thought you meant extra money because there was we had the money that sat by our tables.
Yeah.
And then there was also money on a separate table that's at the entrance of that studio. And I thought you were talking about that. It's fine. We will get it back tomorrow.
We're all out of fake money.
It's funny. Olivia's in the chat. She says, I literally gathered it up for you, Brett. Yes. I was like, I'll come back for it.
It was very neatly stacked fake money that we left behind, but it's fine. We'll get it tomorrow.
As far as the move goes for us, it's going to be more weird getting used to the new camera angles and everything.
We're looking up at you now. You're above us, Crisis Actors. So this is going to be interesting to get used to, but I am so excited to be back.
Yeah. Okay. So we had to not just move everything around and bring everything in here. And by the way, guys, before we even get into that, I owe a big thank you to Carter, who helped put everything together in here. We brought everything in. Carter helped organize all the cables. We plugged everything. I made maps of where everything went so that I could plug back everything in where it needed to go. But I owe Carter a big thank you. Andrew, I owe a big thank you. They helped out, get everything ready. And
all of you, obviously, since you're the reason this show even exists.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We wouldn't, if it wasn't worth it to be back on the air, it wouldn't be here. And that's because of you guys. So it's a big thing.
So that's the truth about our channel.
Yes.
We have another 20 from Jose Quintana. Congratulations on the new studio. Looks great in 4K. I must apologize for failing you with your presidential campaign. Will the Ghost Empress and Optical Overlord make another run in 2028? Long live PCC. I mean, well, Brett would be allowed to do so. I will not be allowed to do so until 2036.
You're welcome to write in ballot for me.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a new studio. Yeah. It's a new president-elect, Donald Trump. It's a whole new country. It's a whole new vibe. If there were ever a moment for us to start season 2 of Pop Culture Crisis, it would be this episode.
Well, I'm not changing the number on the Spotify.
724 episodes of season 1 is a hella long season, though. Yeah. We'll just call it season 2. This is the beginning of season 2, guys. Welcome.
So the thing is with the move was being off the air for a week. It was actually kind of good because news-wise, I mean, everything kind of fell by the wayside in the wake of the election, and everything became about how celebrities were reacting to Donald Trump, which we will talk about today, but that wasn't the be-all, end-all of everything. And I found some other stuff along the way, but I kind of came to the realization that, like, if we're not doing it 5 days a week, I start to, like, panic. Because I'm like, stuff starts to build up, there's too much to talk about, and then I don't know if, like, I'm going to remember everything that we need to get to. So I was kind of focusing on existential dread every day, and it kind of goes away the second the show starts. We're back. The internet's working. Nothing has exploded yet. I think we're good. I will be keeping an eye on the 1 hour and 18-minute mark to make sure that no ghosts, goblins, ghouls, or spirits find a way to stop this show, given what had happened 2 years ago. So we're working on it.
Also, I just want to say, if you were unaware, for the past week, I was in Nashville with the rest of the Timcast crew doing Timcast IRL in the office of Daily Wire.
I was going to
including on election night.
So the beauty of doing this show is I don't really have to think extensively about politics in the way, like, I used to love talking about politics and I used to love thinking about politics, but these days it just seems like such a... Maybe it's the more you pay attention to the news, the closer together everything feels, and it feels like nothing ever changes, right? Which can be very blackpilling and very much causes a doomerist mindset. So getting away from it has always been really, really good for me. Did it feel like you were kind of thrown back into it while doing the shows over the week?
I wouldn't call it blackpilling. It's a nice change of pace, change of scenery, but... yeah, you cannot match the energy in the room at a Daily Wire election party when everyone realized they called it for Trump. Like, everyone was incredibly hype.
I mean, I didn't...
I still keep forgetting that it happened. I'm like, I wake up and I remember, like, oh yeah, Trump won.
Well, the thing is like, when they're like, Fox News called it, I'm like, so? Like... if they're gonna cheat, then
you wait for AP.
Yeah. We were waiting for AP on all of those calls.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I expected. I guess by the day of, I had a feeling it was going to be Trump.
See, I'm not going to be... I think they were saying, was it Ann Coulter? Somebody, like, pretended like it wasn't... like, said that he was going to lose, and then now is pretending that she knew all along that he was going to win. See, I did not. I had no faith in the American people that they were going to do that. I kind of do have that sense most of the time that the legacy media and the power the legacy media has over people is just too much to fight back on. And I was wrong. So it wasn't... I did not predict this election right, but it's a good thing.
We have another 20 from That Stanzatastic. Are we allowed to say our word now? Why aren't the walls the color of the show? Also, cool new profile picture. PCC, so boom. Welcome back. I missed the homies. GG.
Well, I don't know what you mean by the colors of the show, but if you check see, there's nobody there right now.
It looks like a really cool chair.
Yes. If chair was a person, chair would have a lot to say right now.
It's a chair in liminal space.
Yeah, both chairs do.
I think that we've got the lighting figured out. It looks good to me. We're not done with the studio. Obviously, things are going to look better over time, but
incrementally, we'll make changes.
We're not worried about it right now.
So the thing about building this whole
we have another 20 from Pat the Plumber saying, "Oh hell yeah."
Oh hell yeah.
Did I say it wrong?
No, that's good.
Okay.
The thing about doing this is, like, I am a worst case scenario person almost all the time.
Yes.
I just assume everything is going to go wrong every moment of every day.
Well, what went wrong? I feel like we haven't gotten enough Brett trauma dump yet. How did it all go?
So nothing really went wrong in the way that I thought it was going to go wrong. Meaning, like, I thought the black magic deck was going to break. I thought that I was going to lose the sheets of paper I had where I had the map to where everything was plugged in properly. You know, first of all, we moved these physical tables. These are the same tables that were up in the studio. Let me see if I can put it on PTZ. You can't see it from that angle. But, crisis party. It's going to be a different crisis party because there's
There's no money.
Sucks to be everybody else here right now.
That's okay. Yeah, there are other people working in this building, so.
Noise complaint.
We're being a nuisance again, and it feels so good. We have another 20 from Nate. Gotta be honest, I don't like the new digs as much, but I'm glad to hear from you again. You were sorely missed.
Thank you,
Well,
I guess.
you'll become fond of the new studio over time, as will we. It's nice to be around people again. Yeah. You know, we're not sequestered off in an attic somewhere.
I mean, that's we all take that to different levels, right?
We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Nice studio, good acoustics. I just hope that when the history of streaming is written, that some dumbass critic 100 years from now don't refer to you as the, quote, fake money show. That is the only reason why people watch, after all, is because there's money that flies in the air. So after this episode, everyone is going to unsubscribe. It was nice knowing you.
We should make a fake money show shirt.
Yeah, fake money show.
I like that. All right.
That'll be the spin-off.
Look, here's the thing. One of the beauties, one of the things that's beautiful for me is, like, when things suck, I tend to, like, get over it very, very fast. I worry endlessly, and then it just rolls right off me after it happens. So last week was a lot of work. It was a lot of stuff went into it. I'm already past it. Yeah. I'm ready to get back to work.
The only thing that truly went wrong for me during this past week was being incredibly sleep deprived. Like, to the point where, I don't know if any of you watching have felt like this sleep deprived before, but when you get paranoid and you start thinking people are acting different around you, but it's really you. Yeah. Like, you're the one who's acting weird.
That was me in the past, but it's because I used to do a lot of drugs.
I guess that was like me getting the drug experience because I was sleep deprived out of my mind. Yeah. But I'm okay now, all rested up, and we're ready to go. All right, let's to farm some content.
Let's make some content for people. So let's go ahead and get started. So guys, there's all sorts of news going on right now around superheroes. There was a trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. Obviously, we can't watch that on air because it's a problem. We'll get copyright struck. But I've got something even better for you. There's a brand new superhero coming out, and his name is Bunny Man.
And he is on Grindr.
And he is definitely on Grindr. That is definitely some type of bunny gimp suit, and I'm here for it.
I just don't understand this. It's like this. You said that this is modernity embodied in a superhero.
Listen to who's in this movie: Mike Tyson, Bella Thorne, and James Franco. So James Franco's continuing his uncanceled streak.
Right, they don't care at all.
Bella Thorne is just random, and this is a lost opportunity.
Mike Tyson got canceled too. I mean, he is a convicted rapist.
Years ago.
This says Bunny Man, according to Deadline, is a character whose real identity is a closely guarded secret. They're selling this. It's gonna mostly shoot in a virtual set. Mike Tyson has completed his own part in the film, which is intended to be the first in a trilogy.
I love the motorcycle up on the blocks for some type of CGI background.
We have a big super chat from Mr. Moose Knuckle. Glad to see my favorite background noises back. Do you think with Trump in office, pop culture will swing the other way, or do you think the woke culture will take the ball and leave? Also, thank you to all the veterans for your service.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yes, guys. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. I forgot I sent my dad a text this morning because my dad is a Vietnam vet. So if you are a veteran, if you did serve in the armed forces, thank you so much. That's a good question. That's almost something we could make a topic out of. Would be talking about what Hollywood is going to do. Yeah. Now that maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Talk about what we think they're going to do now that Trump is back in office.
My hunch actually is that the left is going to shun the woke people.
Think so?
And they're going to
pretend like it never happened?
Yes. And they are going to whip themselves into shape, realizing how badly they just effed up.
Your optimism is
what I'm worried about. No, it's not optimistic. It's not optimistic.
Kind of optimistic.
Thank you. No, it's bad. It's a bad thing because I know that the right isn't cool enough to compete with the left when they're trying to be cool again. at me talking about coolness while I'm dancing to a crisis party.
Yes, exactly. Let's go ahead and move on. So keep your eye out for, look, there's a lot of people that are considered problematic in that casting. So keep your eyes out for Bunny Man. It kind of reminded me of like an adult version of Samaritan. Remember we watched Samaritan from Amazon?
It looks very sexual.
But I'm saying like, I mean like as in like it's an independent superhero movie, not from the big two.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's move on. So big news if you are a Mission Impossible fan, or if you're just me and you're a Tom Cruise fan, there is a trailer for Mission Impossible 8. I believe it's 8 now. It was originally going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2. Now it's called The Final Reckoning. I think it should have just been called Final Reckoning. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I watched the trailer.
Okay, so first of all, remind everyone how you felt about the last one.
We reviewed Dead Reckoning. I don't remember a single thing I said in our review, obviously. I don't remember a single thing about the movie or the plot. It just had something vaguely to do with AI. I don't think anyone who wrote the movie knows what the plot was. And I guess that's not the point. As you said, it's a movie for guys, and I'm generally just not into action films like that.
Yeah. I mean, that trailer was literally all action scenes.
It was. There's nothing that really even hints to you what the movie is about. And I was just joking like, oh yeah, that cliffhanger from Dead Reckoning really just had me out of breath. Like, I've been waiting for this. I have no idea how that movie ended.
I mean,
and it didn't do well at the box office. It was a flop.
Not a flop.
It was a flop.
It did not.
You're saying it wasn't a flop because you love Tom Cruise, but it was a flop.
That might be true. It made a lot of money, but it cost so much to make that it negated the money that it made.
Which makes it a flop. Yeah.
The thing is you mentioned cliffhanger. It literally was a cliffhanger because he drove off a cliff at the end of the movie.
Right, which was a huge deal. They posted the video. I think that was a couple of years ago now that they were in the middle of filming this. But now he's dangled from a plane. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Fine. I'm coping here. It was a flop.
Bad. The movie was.
No, I liked the movie, but I will not pretend like it did better than it did. Okay. I'm coping a little bit. I enjoyed the film. I had a lot of fun with it. It was still too long. It was way too long, but most of it was action, so it was okay.
You think that Tom Cruise should hand it off to Glenn Powell?
Literally,
officially?
yeah. I think that if they're going to keep the Mission Impossible franchise going past, they're saying broke even, $600 million for the movie it made, but it cost like $350 million.
Okay.
Because of COVID protocols. Yeah, I think that they should hand the reins off to Glenn Powell. He seems to have taken an interest in Glenn Powell since Top Gun Maverick anyways. Glenn Powell is looking to assert himself. He's doing he's doing the Running Man reboot. He's picked really good roles for himself. And if he wanted a franchise to make his own, I think that this might be one of the few where if it's done the right way, people won't feel as if they're being force-fed a new character if they bring in the next character who's supposed to replace Ethan Hunt. And most of the time, these studios will do that because, let's face it, IP is too valuable, and they're not going to just get rid of Mission Impossible just because Tom Cruise is too old to play it eventually.
We have another 20 from Gordon Shumway. I'm glad you guys are near people again. I was worried Brett was going to start complaining about a stapler, then Tim would fix the glitch. Don't burn the old place down, Brett. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I haven't a clue what any of that means, but thank you for being here.
And I do want this movie to do well because I do like most of what Tom Cruise does. But again, I think the budget for this one is also really, really high. So it's going to be very, very difficult to make its money back. It also cannot be, I think it was, the last one was 2 hours and 46 minutes.
It was insane.
That's a long. Like the only time
nothing justifies
the
that.
only thing that's been that long that didn't bother me was Oppenheimer. And that was like 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Even that, I was honestly bored to tears. And it's because I'm low IQ.
Yeah.
I was too low IQ to understand Oppenheimer.
You need to find a Nolan bro to explain it to you.
Right, to grab the back of my neck and scream at me in the movie theater and explain the plot.
But there is this clip here that people were showing. It says Tom Cruise defies gravity from Mission Impossible, dangles midair from a plane. Well, of course it is. That's what he lives for now. He's dead inside.
The most Tom Cruise he can possibly be.
He's dead inside now, so he needs to do stuff like this.
He's a sociopath.
He's like, I need to feel alive in whatever way I can possibly.
This is all he has left.
It is.
I mean, truly.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on then. We got a bunch of other stuff to get into. This one is really, really interesting with Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, this made me laugh. Olivia Rodrigo recently revealed that one of the biggest red flags for men in dating is if they want to go to space. Like, Just such a random thing to bring up as a red flag, but I guess that's her number one ick. She said, "This is a very oddly specific question that I ask guys on first dates. I always ask them if they think that they would want to go to space. And if they say yes, I don't date them." I just think if you want to go to space, you're a little too full of yourself. I think it's just weird.
Yeah. Well, I'm as far as shit tests go, this might be the worst I've ever heard.
Wow.
She's like, I want dudes who have absolutely no adventurous spirit whatsoever. I want a dude who just wants to go to his 9-to-5 job, drinks 2% milk, doesn't do anything risky at all.
Does she mean she doesn't like when a guy wants to go to space but doesn't do anything to make sure he actually does it?
That's not what she means.
Because that I might understand, actually. If he's like really obsessed with watching other men go to space, but he doesn't plan to do it himself.
I think
he's like
either
a
way,
fanboy of that.
Look, I think either way, I don't see that as a red flag. I mean, people would say the same thing about people who really like sports who are not professional athletes, yet it's pretty normal for adults to watch sports.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
I get that.
Like, it's just part of being a balance. If anything, what it is it's quelling the instinct that men have had since the beginning of time, which is to explore and find places that have never been found before.
She is longhousing.
Yeah.
She is the longhouse. And I think she is showing her disdain for the indomitable human pioneering spirit.
I mean, I think it's just we've crushed everyone's adventurous spirit. Like, nobody has that desire to do so anymore because modernity has just crushed it out of them. Go to your 9-to-5 job, work your regular hours, don't take any risks. You're never going to own a home anyways. Go back to your apartment, eat your what were we talking about? Your bugs,
your cricket meat.
I don't know. I that made me really sad. I actually tweeted about it.
Yeah, this was your take, actually. Yeah. The innate male desire to explore and discover the undiscovered is now a red flag.
Like, that should be the ultimate green flag. Like, at the very least, even if you're not going to actually do it because you got to go to your job and pay your bills, the fact that you would want somebody who doesn't even have the desire to is crazy.
Yeah, I think that it's, again, the birth control.
Oh, yeah.
It is the birth control. It all comes back to that damn pill that is making women attracted to effeminate men. And it is a very effeminate trait for a man to not have higher aspirations, whether it's space or something else, climbing mountains, whatever. Like,
she's like, I want a guy who doesn't want promotions. I want him to just stay where he is.
Right?
Don't take any risks.
Right? Like, what would be the male equivalent of this? Like, what would a man say that you just be like, bro, are you gay? Like
for women?
Yeah.
What would be the male version of this?
Like, she needs to make more money than me, or I just don't date her.
He's like
that's a red flag.
He's like, I'm the prize. She better like. He's like, I'm not dating a woman unless she'll take me to dinner.
All of these takes are giving me the ick, but I think some of this might be throwing shade at Elon Musk without naming him explicitly. One person said, Elon Musk has single-handedly made wanting to explore the stars a loser trait. And I think we need to collectively, this is this person saying this, not me, collectively beat him with rocks because of it. They think that Elon Musk himself single-handedly made space travel cringe. Therefore, no man can be interested in it, or else they're a red flag too.
What if she had said, like, I don't want to date a guy who wants to set random nautical records, like sailing the earth in however many days, right? Like, because she says it's about being full of themselves, right?
Yeah.
But isn't the idea that, what's the phrase? Like, a man's reach should exceed his grasp, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should always be looking for just a little bit more.
Thank you,
lest
guys.
you fall into some type of trap.
Third crisis party of the day.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
Like, what if the guy? Okay, so what if a male celebrity was like, I don't want to date a pop star who's doing arena tours. I only want to date a pop star who's doing regular shows.
What if some guy that she was dating asked her on a date, you know, do you really want to hand out birth control and lube to your preteen underage audience, Olivia, that's kind of an ick and a red flag for me. Well, that's a non-negotiable for her.
Is this the type of thing that you would think about? Like if a guy was like...
About space?
About space?
Okay.
Okay, let me rephrase. let me rephrase. Is this the type of thing where you would clock a dude who doesn't know how to exceed what he's normally capable of? Like he has no ambition, right?
Yes.
Is there like a question you would ask to try to clock that? That seems to be what she's doing here, except for she's looking for the opposite.
Right, she is looking specifically for a man that she can upstage in every facet of life. Yeah. Probably because she has her own self-esteem issues and doesn't want to be, you know, a sidekick. Even though that's not how you should think about those things.
No, it's a partnership.
It's a toxic outlook. But yeah, I mean, I think that most people obviously are mediocre and unremarkable, but... And that just goes with the territory. That's mathematically impossible for everyone to be unique and exceptional. But, you know, at least most people who are unremarkable do aspire toward remarkable things. It's
so funny because
everyone has dreams. And if a man doesn't have any aspirations, or he has aspirations that he can't make himself move toward with real actions, of course, that's a terrible sign, and it is emasculating.
I have actually at certain points, though, you know, given what we do, the goal is always to grow the show, to do better, to find ways to reach a new audience. I want this show to be the best that it can be. But there are definitely days, it's not usually related to the show itself, but me, especially if it's on a day when I have to like look back at clips we've done, or I have to edit stuff, which forces me to look back at my own work. I'm like, you know what? I'm not that great at talking, and I'm okay with that.
There's a difference between like thinking about ways that you could improve and not trying to improve.
So usually for me, it's got more to do with people who record their videos pre-recorded, as opposed to what we do, which is live, which is like, I'm always, no matter what we cover, right? If we cover something, no matter what we talk about, I always think afterwards, we could have talked about this aspect of it. We could have talked about this. I'm always looking to, you know, judge my work harshly, which should theoretically lead you to greener pastures, and you should get better as you're going if you're not just dropping content and being like, okay, it's fine. But for me, that usually comes back to how I perceive my own work on camera, which is like, look, I try to look at other people in the space, and then I'm judging my own work based on how good they are, not really always recognizing that ours is live and a lot of theirs is pre-recorded. So this is just one area of life, but it's innate to not want to just accept what it is for what it is and to try and do a little bit better. Now, that doesn't mean you're good at actually putting that plan to do better into action, but it should be something that you think about.
Men should not be risk-averse creatures. That is something very essential, actually, to the distinct female and male natures. Women are risk averse. Women are the more neurotic sex, and they want safety and security. A man who wants all of those things and is preoccupied with all of those things, that's not the type of man that you would be looking for if you're looking for a masculine, traditionally masculine guy. But I think she's made it pretty clear that it's not what she wants. She wants a little bitch.
She's like, look, I don't want a guy that goes to space. I don't want a guy who likes monster trucks. I don't want a guy who's into anything dangerous. Just come home from work in your electric car. No, not like in your on a Vespa. Come home in the like on the sidewalk. Don't bike in the street.
No, a city bike.
Oh.
He rents a city bike from.
That's awful. All right, I just thought it was weird because, like, to me, this just feels like one of those things that is. It almost feels like it's innate to women to want a guy who wants to go into space or wants to do dangerous things.
Women these days don't know what they want. They've messed up all of their preferences because, again, their hormones are all out of whack.
It's all the birth control.
It really all comes back to the magic bean.
Okay. Okay. All right, guys, we got more stuff to get into today. So, you know what's funny is Joker 2 came out in the idea of this space where news is daily. Joker came out a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Joker has been out for ages, and that's not good because even though Joker came out ages ago, bad news just seems to keep coming out about this film. In this case, comedian Tim Dillon, who I didn't even realize was in the movie, had a role as an extra. He has commentary on this.
This says Tim Dillon had a blink and you'll miss it role in Joker Folie à Deux as an Arkham Asylum security guard. And in his recent appearance on Joe Rogan, he called Joker 2 the worst film ever made. There's got to be something in your contract, no matter how small, that you're not allowed to just openly trash the movie, right?
You know who I blame for this? I blame Hollywood for going on this spiel lately where they put comedians in bit roles. Like Bill Burr getting guest starring roles in The Mandalorian. Like, what's that about?
That was so weird now that I remember it.
Like, what's that about? What's the Bill Burr got to do with it? Mm-hmm. It feels that way. Give cooler cameos. So I was watching, I was watching people talking about Alias recently, which is a show that I really like on Twitter. And they were like, oh, I'm really liking the show so far. I'm like, wait till you get to the random Quentin Tarantino cameos. He's in he acts in the show like 4 times. That's the that's the type of cameo I want. I want random, like, what if
it's all feet.
Like, what if you just put Quentin Tarantino in there and he's the one who pulls off the Joker's shoes? Mm-hmm. That's what you could have done.
Yeah, definitely. Tarantino obviously loved Joker.
I mean, he loved to make fun of it, but he loved it in a passive-aggressive way.
Tarantino loved Joker 2 for all of the wrong reasons and all of the same reasons that Tim Dillon listed in this interview, actually. He said, it's the worst film ever made. I think what happened after the first Joker, there was a lot of talk like, oh, this was loved by incels. This was loved by the wrong kinds of people. This sent the wrong kind of message. Male rage, nihilism, all these think pieces. And then I think, what if we went the other way and now they have Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga tap dancing to a point where it's insane. It has no plot. We would sit there, me and these other guys were all dressed in these security outfits because we're working at Arkham Asylum, and I would turn to one of them and we'd hear this crap and I'd go, WTF is this? And they'd go, this is going to bomb, man. I go, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. We were talking about it at lunch and we'd go, what is the plot? Is there a plot? I don't know. I think he falls in love with her in the prison. It's not even hate watchable. That's how terrible it was.
The honest trailer for Joker 2 is actually so mediocre because the movie is so mediocre that all of the jokes just kind of fall really, really flat. In the honest trailer. And to be fair, honest trailers hasn't been good what it used to be in a lot of years, but it didn't really make me laugh. And this kind of falls back on Todd Phillips, who everyone knows went out of his way to like not include Warner Brothers executives in this process. He like locked David Zaslav off the set, the guy who owns the company, and said, you can't come.
He seemed to be okay with it though.
Yeah.
James Gunn and David Zaslav were just like, hands off, I mean, do whatever you want.
If I'm James Gunn, I don't want this connected to it at all anyways, because he's going to be going for a very different tone with the world he's building around Superman anyways. So like, why would you even want to be mixed up in this or connected to it? It would have been closer to a Matt Reeves Batman world. And that, by the way, guys, if you watched the finale to the Penguin last night, I was very happy about the end. I was. I'm not. No, it's a spoiler. I'm not going to say. I was pumped about it though. But the point is in tone, it was closer to that. But he didn't want anyone involved in that. I don't think there should be NDAs. In fact, I think the opposite. I think they should get rid of all NDAs, and every actor should be allowed to just talk all the crap they want. Because I'm sick of these actors who come out and then they sing the praises of the movie, but then they talk about politics and ruin the promotion anyways. If you're going to ruin the promo for your own movie, do it in a funny way. Have the actors come out and just be like, yeah, that movie's awful.
I think everyone needs to be less media trained, actually. People appreciate someone just being real and honest.
Yeah.
And I can tell Joaquin Phoenix himself would agree with Tim Dillon about this.
Yeah.
He hated the movie. And I saw this lip reading video from the premiere at one of these film festivals. He tells Lady Gaga in this video he hated the movie too. He agrees with us.
See, here's the thing.
But he can't say it publicly because he has the media training and professionalism not to.
Maybe what happened, they were talking about a different movie.
Maybe
they were talking about like,
while they were in the middle of the like 27-minute long standing ovation.
She was like, what do you think of A Fault in Our Stars?
Right.
So
it's horrible.
Haha. No, it's not. Don't say that.
I do think it was.
You think so?
Certainly.
Oh, why is that?
Yes.
Why? What are you talking
The ending
about?
could have been different.
No, I loved it.
Indeed. Yikes.
I don't buy that they had this conversation for the first time.
Todd Phillips comes over.
Great film. Thank you.
And then he just totally lies to Todd Phillips.
I will say that right here, this is like a please stop congratulating me on my failure pose that he's giving here. Like, he knows the movie's bad, but he's like, thanks for complimenting me. Your taste is shit.
Well, he had to tell Todd Phillips that he did a good job to save his feelings.
I mean, why? Like he's not going to work with him again. They're not going to become the Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise of gay Joker films.
Some people still value professionalism, and they shouldn't. It would be more Joker-esque not to.
Okay, to be fair, on any given day, I could give you a different answer for this, because if it was something I actually cared about and he was doing this, then I'd be pissed and I'd be like, he should be defending his film. He should take some pride in his art. But since I don't care, I'm going to admit that I'm just flip-floppy on this one.
If the movie's bad, like,
I mean,
what can you even say?
The actor.
Do you have to lie?
You have to lie. You have to lie, because look, it's subjective taste anyway. Me and you get into this argument all the time about subjective art, opinions on art and objectively good art. And my point is always pragmatically objectively good art doesn't matter, because the way that film critique is so decentralized now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, because 10,000 people from 10,000 different walks of life have 10,000 different opinions on a movie. A lot of people hated it, and a lot of people hated it for the same reason, but doesn't mean everybody does.
Joker 2 was actually objectively good, and if you say that you didn't like it, you're either objectively wrong or you're just lying for clout.
I heard people say that.
You're lying about disliking Joker 2 for clout.
I mean, nobody can say that about me. I'm the one who always ends up liking everything, and then everybody gets mad at me.
Yeah. Well,
but no, so it's not just that.
Yeah.
So not just Tim Dillon dunking on the movie, even though he had the cameo in the movie.
Not just Joaquin Phoenix.
Not just Joaquin Phoenix. So the movie came out on streaming. Remember, guys, 3 weeks after the movie came out in theaters, it was already out on pay VOD, and it opened fourth. Womp, womp, womp.
You say on iTunes?
Yeah, on iTunes. It says
people still use that?
Apparently. It says from its October 29th digital release on iTunes, it ranked fourth behind The Substance, which was number 3. And Beetlejuice was up at the top of that list. But The Substance was a more niche film, and they couldn't even beat that because nobody cared.
It's sad. It's sad what happened to this version of the Joker.
Now just think about this. So I was arguing with people online about whether this movie needed to be made and whether it was good or not and blah, 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 blah. And look, this could be one of those movies I saw. I don't remember who the director was saying that this is the type of movie where in 10 years it's going to be looked at very differently once the politics of the day fade away and the movie's had time to sit, that maybe this will end up becoming a cult classic. Do you remember the last time like a modern movie became a cult? Like people think of cult classics, they think of like The Big Lebowski.
What's the cutoff date?
I don't know.
The cutoff year?
What can anybody in the chat think of a movie post 2016? So think of like when it all went to hell in a handbasket in Hollywood. So think of a movie post 2016. Is there any movie you can think of in that time period that has become like a cult classic?
I mean, there hasn't been enough time passed yet for us to even find out. But I don't think that will happen because everything is just so shit.
But that's the thing. A lot of bad movies end up becoming cult classics.
But that means they were never bad in the first place, like Jennifer's Body. Just
that
means
is
that they were misjudged.
Yeah, that one. And the funny thing is, that one's not even really the film's fault or the viewer's fault. It's just the studio didn't know how to market a movie like that. That movie would do much better today, but I don't think it would ever get a theater release.
No, it wouldn't.
I think that movie goes straight to streaming.
What about that next Megan Fox movie? What is that
Subservience?
called again? Is that coming out in theaters?
I think it already did. I think it had a limited release.
No way. I've been checking and I didn't see it.
It might
That's a
not. It
shame.
might have come out to the theaters that we went to.
I would have liked to review that.
Look, there's a lot of movies that are still yet to come out this year, and there's it's been a slow fall, like end of summer into fall. Beetlejuice is the only one that's really been successful, and Venom has kind of creeped along. I think it just passed $400 million at the box office, so it's at roughly the break-even point if you are to assume that it had a high marketing cost. But there's Moana 2, which is still expected to make like $100 million on its opening weekend, which me and you can attest. We saw people in the real world talking about being excited for this movie.
Yeah, I was on a
possible.
plane and there was this lady in the row in front of me saying that she was really excited for Moana 2.
Didn't
and
think
I was
that
like,
was possible.
Wow. Some people still actually pay attention to what Disney is putting out.
Sonic
That's
3
crazy.
is still coming out. And then at the
Yeah.
holidays, obviously, we have Wicked and we have Gladiator, which are
Yep.
both expected to open to fairly decent numbers. I think Wicked is supposed to open to 80 million and Gladiator is supposed to open to 50 million. Those are their domestic.
Well, good for them. Joker 2 set the bar real low.
Yep. All right. What would you like to see first? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cute first.
Cute first? Okay.
I think we should finish off with the cringe.
All right. Cute of the day. By the way, guys, I got kind of behind on the cute of the day, so you should go and submit. During the past week, I was so busy that if you submitted, I might not have saved it properly. So go and resubmit your cute of the days. Hashtag PCC Pets. Hashtag cute of the day on Twitter. Tag me and the show in there at Brett Dasovic and at popculture_show. So let's go ahead and look at some of your pets here. All right, first one from Corey. There we go. Says, I regularly feed the squirrels and birds in my front yard. Well, good. You're not the New York governing body of their, regulatory committee, which just goes and kills squirrels. We didn't even get to talk about Peanut.
Or Moodang. She needs full Secret Service detail immediately. Because she predicted the Trump victory, and they hate her.
Did
now.
you also see that they found, as soon as that happened, there was suddenly another hippo that everybody, or a pygmy that everybody was making a big deal about?
More like a pick-me.
Yeah, for serious. Another one, they're like, look, we can't have a Trump supporting Moodang.
I just realized that now that this monitor is far away from me, I can't even see the cute of the day.
There's one more here. That's a pretty big one there. He's very cute.
Chubby squirrel.
Yes, we don't want to
in honor of Peanut.
We don't want to sacrifice the squirrels here. All right, let's do one more here. This one is from, hold on, let me get rid of that one. Devin sent this one. He says, silly toothless tuxedos don't go in the laundry.
Aww.
Oh, that is very cute. All right, time for the cringe. What is this one about?
I actually forgot which one I sent to you because I had so many cringes saved up from the past week. This is what I do, obviously. I just
looks like
scour the internet
Walmart?
for the worst possible things. Okay, yes. Now I remember. Actually, no, I don't even want to spoil it for you. You have to experience this in real time.
Okay, here we go, guys. Let me refresh.
Okay.
Could you help me over here? I need some help over here, if that's okay.
This poor employee. You'll see in a second.
Excuse me. My friend just thought you were beautiful. He wanted to see if he can get your number.
Oh my God.
I'm actually married. I'm sorry.
We tried. He was talking so good about you. I was just like, well, I'll help you out. It's okay.
Bro's
Derek.
not even
Better luck
defending
next time, Derek.
himself.
What is he supposed to do in that situation?
Now he just he just walks
Better luck
away.
next time.
Like,
How's
he
it?
didn't even try to clear his name. But now that he tries to continue lying to this woman.
Trying to be a good friend.
Yeah.
He was just trying to be a good friend.
That dude is an absolute menace.
Seriously.
That kid's like, I'm not trying to catch a sexual harassment
Actually
case at
true.
work. Are you kidding me?
But also, you're right. That guy did look like an actual high schooler, so that might be a little weird. I just think he should have said, no, this guy just, set me up. Defend yourself.
He's too, freaked out by it. He has no idea what to do in that situation.
That's kind of the point, I guess. Just make people uncomfortable for content.
That was awful.
I mean, that's what I do every day.
That was awful.
I think we got a 20 from Glitches. So glad to see you back, PCC. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very sweet. We're glad to be back as well.
That was awful.
You're still not recovered
No,
from the cringe.
that was awful. Never do that again. Okay.
I have worse ones, so just get excited for what's happening the rest of the week.
All right, let's move on then. Let's talk about all the celebrities that are all the salt mines are full right now.
Yeah. In case you missed it, Trump won the election. He is now our president-elect. And as you can expect, always, Hollywood is having a collective meltdown about it. It's very sad. First off, Billie Eilish delivered a speech to her teenage girl audience during a performance in Nashville. That was just a couple of nights ago. She called Trump someone who hates women so deeply. Here, let's watch the speech she gave to her fans.
All right, here we go.
I'm deaf.
Convicted predator. Let's say that. God, my heart is beating fast. Someone who hates women so deeply is about to be the
Just chose like a female chief of staff.
It doesn't matter.
president of the United States of America.
Oh, they're screeching like banshees. Make it stop.
So,
You think that was really cathartic
this
for
song
them?
is for all the women out there. I love you. I support you. And here we go.
Okay.
What is it? Here's the thing. You were like, oh, he just picked a female chief of staff. That doesn't matter. You could point to any number of
I know.
examples. The facts do not matter. It will never even make a dent. They want to believe what they want to believe, and you will not convince them otherwise. In fact, that's why the proper response is actually like, yeah, Trump hates women. What about it? I kind of like that about him. Like, just lean into it because you're never going to convince them otherwise. But I did see not all of the people in Billie's audience in that video were stupid. Some people in Nashville realized that she was talking nonsense. This TikTok says, this is a part of what's wrong with the US today. For context, after Billie Eilish brought up the importance of voting for the right candidate, two older women took it upon themselves to interrupt the song and speak about how her age makes her opinion less than. It is this type of ignorance that makes it nearly impossible to make a change. Educate yourselves, please. And then Republicans in the audience at this Nashville concert ended up booing Billie and walked out of her concert early after she gave her speech calling Trump a misogynist. So there were some voices of reason in the crowd, at least.
I mean, there shouldn't be any of these voices at all because I just hate that these conversations have to happen.
Oh,
in the
not
first
only
place.
that, Billie Eilish also posted her first reaction to Trump's victory on her Instagram story, saying, "It's a war on women."
My first,
It's a war
my
on
first
women.
thought whenever I saw these things that to say that, and obviously that has been the predominant narrative amongst celebrities and the general public, when it ignores the fact that abortion isn't even really an issue on the ballot at all, other than in the fictitious minds of people who have used it as propaganda, is that it speaks to the extreme narcissism of Western women.
Okay, what if abortion actually were on the ballot this time? It still wouldn't be a war on women if Trump won.
I know.
Just have to be. I mean,
my point is
throwing
that-
that out there. Like, I don't like accepting their premise, even that this is a women's rights issue. So that's BS.
My point was still that they won't, like, they can't make that concession anyways. They're not going to listen to you when you tell them that it's not a war on women either way. But if you're supposed to operate under the premise that they're operating under, it still wouldn't be that, because what they're talking about isn't a real issue.
Also, I'm confused because I thought that Sabrina Carpenter kept her mouth shut about this. I thought that she hadn't made any endorsement one way or the other, which made me think she was a crypto Trump supporter. But here's what she said after the election. "I feel so sorry about our country, and to all the women in here, I love you so much. I really hope that the rest of the night you can enjoy yourselves because you absolutely deserve it. Well, Trump won, so you have to engage in some self-care.
Yeah, they love
by going to a Sabrina Carpenter concert. Like, you sound like a toddler.
Actually, what they should be doing is the opposite. What you should do, you know how they talk about like working out, running long distances, any type of physical activity is a good way to harden yourself against any type of strife. They need the opposite of self-care so that they can mentally toughen up so that when these things happen, it doesn't break them. And that was actually my takeaway after this entire election was my heart breaks for a country where this has to matter that much anyways.
This as in the election?
Yes. Like, theoretically, in a perfect world, the federal government should be so small that the election of whoever becomes president should be inconsequential to the average everyday person. Meaning that it shouldn't be the end of the world, no matter who they elect. But since we don't live in that world and everybody has to act as if whoever becomes president, it's going to lead to either saving America or ending America, I'm sick of the hyperbole.
Well, I think the pop stars in these examples and their fan bases have been beaten over the head for so long, so unceasingly with propaganda about Trump specifically and Project 2025 and everything that represents.
I can't wait to see them have to do this.
They do actually believe that we just elected an absolute monarch.
A fascist dictator.
That's what they think. Madonna also addressed the Donald Trump victory, showing off a cake, displaying the words F Trump.
My favorite part is how it's off center.
It's so messed up. It just looks bad.
No, I'm kind of here for it. Like she didn't pay.
Okay, so she bought a cake before the election night was over, and she was gonna decide what to write on it, or maybe it was gonna say F Trump regardless of who won. That makes sense to me. She said, trying to get my head around why a convicted felon, rapist, bigot was chosen to lead our country because he's good for the economy. Hold up. Let me just look up Madonna's net worth real quick before we start talking about the economy. It looks like she is grossed an estimated $1.2 billion in her career.
Very hard to imagine that, she has to worry about the economy. There's a 20 there from Jose Quintana. I think we missed that one.
Oh, sorry about that. Should Tulsi be on his cabinet? By the way, you may have missed my super chat earlier. Oh, great ghost empress and optical overlord. Wait, what was the one from earlier?
I think it was the very first one. I think we got that one.
Yeah. I have
here it is. Jose Quintana says, my dear ghost empress, it wasn't a flop. Movie reviews. Heretic was a slow burn, too slow. Weekend in Taipei was better than anticipated and quite violent. Please forgive me for shouting my empress, PCC. Long live PCC.
I did think about watching Heretic, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to get scared.
Yeah.
I have no take on whether Tulsi Gabbard should be in Trump's cabinet. I just think it's so rich that Madonna has a net worth at the minimum $850 million, and she is mad at normal people for voting based on the economy.
It's really funny because I saw somebody break it down really simply where they said they were mad at people who voted for Donald Trump because it was voting in their own self-interest rather than in the interest of other people. And that actually kind of undersells a huge cultural shift, which is that when voting, you should be voting for your own self-interest.
It's the left versus right-wing concern heat map.
Which is
all of their concern falls on the outside of their family and community.
Yeah.
And to the rest of the globe. Because
leftists are the only people that hold, white leftists are the only people with an out-group bias, meaning that they would prefer to be around people who don't look like them.
Ariana Grande also made a statement on her Instagram.
But before we get to that, I want to do Bette Midler because it involves other ingredients as well. So if you didn't see ingredients. So not a cake, but Bette Midler, she posted this picture before the election, and it was a bottle of champagne. And it says, if Kamala wins, and then a bottle of Drano, and said Trump wins. Judging by the Crisis Party, you know who won.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
Well, the problem was, guys, that after Trump won, she deleted her account because she didn't want people to try and hold her to the statement.
She took down her ex.
Bet, you don't need to do it. I don't want you to. Please do not drink the Drano.
Don't hurt
It's gonna be
yourself.
okay. You're very wealthy, anyways, so none of this should be of concern to you. Just it's gonna be fine.
So unhinged, though, to even make a joke about that. Ariana Grande said, holding the hand of every person who is feeling the immeasurable heaviness of this outcome today.
You know what this is, right? It's because it's a life lived on social media now. Whereas if you lived out in the real world every day and you actually, like the day after the election, I was driving into work. And I was looking around, and there was women walking their dogs, and there was women out for runs.
They still had rights?
And they still had rights.
That's
and
crazy.
They didn't look scared to me, but maybe I'm just a poor judge of character. But the point is if you live in the real world and you don't concern yourself with the mountains, the $1 trillion propaganda machine that's aimed at this country, it becomes a lot easier to see. It's like, okay, so maybe write down, I like this idea. They said, if you're like, whatever your fear is, did you see the colleges were saying like, they were like offering their students like milk and cookie breaks and stuff like that.
Yes.
So if you're that scared, what you should do, and this would have gone the other way. If you're a right-wing person and you were terrified that the end of the world is going to come if Kamala wins, we can argue about which one of those outcomes is more likely, but write down what your greatest fears are and then just kind of keep it there. First of all, just writing it down is cathartic a lot of times anyways, because it gives a face to, it kind of crystallizes what your problems are. But write down, what you're scared of, and then let that go. And then follow. And then if they don't, how many days until this one comes true? How many days until this one comes true? I mean, if the right idea is like, we're going to lose my rights. Like they're going to be waiting 4 years to find out that, he's not going to touch the abortion issue anyway, which is what they really care about. They want to be able to kill their babies.
That's their single issue. Right. Well, I mean, these people are obviously unhinged and unreachable.
And then there's
Most
Cardi B.
people, as you said, are normal and just living their day-to-day lives.
And then you have the Cardi B's who kind of prove their disdain for middle America. They kind of go mask off when stuff like this happens because they take great issue.
Well, no, Cardi B is embarrassed. She's embarrassed because literally just a year ago, she went public saying, I'm never doing another political endorsement again.
Yeah.
Because she realized when she endorsed Biden that she effed up because everything got really bad under Biden. Yeah. And then she was like, no, it's going to be different this time because I'm endorsing a black woman.
Yeah.
Then, she lost and you found out that you had so little influence, way less influence than you thought you had in Hollywood.
I was honestly shocked by how little what a white pill in all of this is. Like, if you really think about all of the celebrities, all of the money. I mean, not just that Kamala spent $1 billion on her campaign, but think of all of the celebrities who give these recommendations for free. Right? Like all of that money, all of that airtime. And even if they won and they won by a small margin, what it tells you is that it takes that much money in propaganda just to raise one side up over the other, which means that if we were to operate on level playing fields and they both spent $0 and spent and had whatever influencers they had on their side, the common sense side of the equation would come out far higher. They literally have to spend billions of dollars on airtime and celebrities just to come somewhere close to the common everyday American.
Let's take a look at this Cardi B video. She looks very passionate.
So listen, I'm gonna let y'all know this right now, okay? So you little trumpets, like, y'all won. I know y'all happy, whatever the fuck. Ain't nobody acting like bitter losers. However, y'all need to leave me the fuck alone. Because I got one more fucking cigarette in me before I start lighting your asses up. Alright? And that's word to the United States of motherfucking America. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of awesome that she's coming out of a Target.
Why is she at Target?
I like the idea that she like pops over there.
She's just really not that famous.
I like the idea that she pops over there to check out the dollar section in the beginning. Every woman loves the dollar section.
She always shoplifts.
The values. No. I'm saying that she goes there, she checks the dollar bins, she does the couple laps around.
A frap, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that she has no right to demand other people treat her some type of way when she was the one who made a political statement and didn't like the consequences. People should be able to criticize you for your political statements.
Which actually, maybe that's the right idea. Is like you should be heavily mocked. Therefore, when it doesn't work out and that happens to you, it teaches you not to do it again the next time.
I thought she had learned her lesson.
Yeah.
I really did. But maybe it's just third time's the charm and we'll find out 4 years from now.
Did you get the sense that this was all you were seeing on your timeline over the last week or so? Because I got kind of numb to it. Like by day 2, and everybody's like posting all the videos of everybody freaking out and all the people having meltdowns in their car. And I'll be honest, like that doesn't help me. I guess it's funny, but it doesn't entertain me in the way it does a lot of other people. Granted, I'm not a Republican.
Well, it's not 2016 anymore.
It
doesn't feel the same way it felt in 2016.
Yeah.
Definitely. And when I see someone like Jimmy Kimmel crying his eyes out on national television because they voted against women's rights and climate change science, I find that more funny.
Yeah.
When I see a normal person, just a normal, ordinary person with an ordinary job, posting a TikTok from their car, having a full-on mental breakdown as a reaction to this election, that is actually sad to me.
Yeah.
That is disturbing.
I see that, and I'm filled with sadness for that person because they have been beaten down by an absolutely evil media and an absolutely demonic propaganda machine that's built. First of all, we are already in a mental health crisis in this country, and they just benefit from it even more.
Right. Well, that actually leads us into our next topic. A lot of feminists are now deciding to boycott all relationships with men. They're not going to sleep with men. They're not going to date or marry men. They're not going to be friends with men. They're not even going to work with men. They are deciding to create an entirely separatist feminist movement, and it is called 4B.
We've talked about this before, have we not?
I have brought up the 4B movement on the show before.
When I first read these articles, when this came out, I was like, maybe we didn't talk about it on the show, but at the very least, me and you had talked about it off air.
Here, let me just look up a summary of this. It actually originated in South Korea.
Yeah.
A radical feminist movement that emerged during the mid to late 2010s on Twitter and on the website WOMAD. The name 4B refers to defining 4 tenets in the Korean language, roughly meaning no. The proponents of 4B do not date, they do not get married, they do not have sex, and they do not have children with men. All 4 of these things. So I think the American women are actually taking it even further, where they're just not going to have any interaction with men whatsoever, just expecting the power grid to stay up.
It reminds me of the meme that I always see where it's like the woman is standing in the window and she's got her arms crossed and she says, I'm going to give him the silent treatment all day so he knows I'm mad at him. And it's a guy out mowing the lawn. He goes, wow, it's peaceful out here.
Literally. So let's take a look at some of these women explaining their decision to boycott men.
I see this and I'm like, bro. You cannot.
How about we boycott air conditioning? Let's boycott indoor plumbing. Let's boycott the power grid.
Mary would love to boycott air conditioning in here because I always need it. I need it to be like negative degrees in here, and she needs it to be like 1,000 degrees. But here we go.
Not that my content reaches a lot of men because I have an IQ of 130, but I want the men in this country to know that
your IQ is 130, queen?
Much like people who put their PhD in their Twitter bio, the more you announce it, the less...
No way, you're in Mensa?
The less valid
I'm just going to worship you now.
Yeah. That half the female population, we're dry. We're probably going to stay dry. I'm dry as a desert, baby, and I don't want it to change. Yeah, we're not going to like you anymore. You understand that? Like, it doesn't matter if you take away abortion. Like,
So
we'll
cringy.
want to have your babies even less, right? Even if you take away contraception, like, women are really good at celibacy because you guys are actually a threat to us. So we have a lot less to gain from you. So yeah, 4B all the way. Let's make some money, I guess. That's all we can do now.
All the MGTOW dudes are like, yeah, let's go. All right.
This is basically the female version of MGTOW. It's women going their own way. It's WGTOW.
Yeah.
And you know why it's not going to work? Because these women are obsessed with having casual sex with men. That's actually the single issue that they vote on. They love having casual hookups with men they don't know. They're obsessed with it.
It hurts.
They can't live without it.
I saw some leftist men like posting about learning about 4B and being like, why are you punishing us? I don't want to take away your rights. I'm like, you do understand that you're letting the men who would never be interested in you to begin with change the outcome of your life, despite the fact that they don't want to be with you anyways, because they're looking to get married and have a family. And the people who do support you are the ones that are going to suffer.
Like, I'm not gonna sleep with you anymore because you let a man win the election.
You can't have all of this. Like, what is this? Like, no one even like wants you, first of all. Like, chill.
Well, no, here's the thing.
Humble yourself.
Also, does anybody believe
I guess you didn't vote for Kamala, so you can't have all of this, all of these.
Nobody in the real world, nobody with half a brain believes that they'll stick to this. This is the same thing as somebody being like, you know what this is? This is me. Like, they're me when I say I'm not going to drink soda anymore. They're literally me when I'm like, you know what? I'm done.
They feel really passionate in the moment.
Yeah, but then you know what? So I'm like,
then you have a glass of wine. And you're in the bubble bath, and you open Hinge again, and you're like, I think I have to hook up with men again. Like, they're not gonna last. It's not gonna last.
They will move the goalposts.
And you know, that girl in that video, she was quite pretty. But I think actually part of the 4B movement for American women is they're now vowing to stop taking care of their appearances. They're actually going to uglify themselves as a form of protest against the male gaze.
You know how you fight back against this? You say, look, almost all of the female billionaires in the world are female billionaires because of makeup lines. How are you going to stop helping your fellow woman if you're not going to take care of yourself anymore? Do you hate women?
Very true.
Do you hate your own kind? Do you hate women? Because if so, then absolutely do this.
So this one girl on
TikTok, the pink tax is just going to go even higher.
This girl is explaining how she is going to try to be as ugly as possible.
My God. She's got the SSRIs if I've ever seen them.
Right.
Here we go.
All right, 4B movement starting. You know what we're going to do? We're not going to dye our hair anymore. We're not going to do makeup.
I thought they did this for themselves anyways.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that, look,
I was under the impression that we were all wearing makeup and doing our hair and wearing cute outfits for ourselves.
I was reliably told
other women.
that women don't do this for men.
Wow.
Anyways.
That's crazy.
We're not going to use filters. We're not.
I mean, that one you shouldn't be doing anyways, even if you're not 4Bing.
Not gonna go get the skin stuff. We're not gonna dress up and look nice.
You guys talk about self-care all the time. There's no way you're swearing off the self-care. I don't believe you.
Why? So that they can come and act like they own us because we look like this? Absolutely not. No, y'all. The 4B movement means, like, we gonna be cozy comfy in our own skin. And everyone over here is like, yeah, get strapped. Get ready. Get prepared. But you know what? It's fine. Let's go. Bring it on. You want to fight? I'm ready to fight. Like, dueling, let's do this, okay? But at the same time, like, I'm sorry. You do not have control over my reproductive rights. You do not have control over my body. You do not have control over what I do with my body. Because when you try something, just watch what happens. This is being used without a filter. I usually do a filter, but you know what? I'm done using filters.
We'll see how long your self-esteem holds up.
The delusion, it's just peak delusion. Like, I need the right to abortion because all of these men think I'm so sexy and they all want to get me pregnant. What? What are you saying? You're saying the quiet part out loud.
There is no single group. Look, I hate to be. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I don't know if there is a single group that is more narcissistic than Western women who believe that the world is not just revolves around them, but is simultaneously out to get them at the same time.
But you must understand that those women are the same ones you were just talking about, who are just, out walking their dog. They're out on a run the day after the election, knowing that they didn't lose any of their rights, just living their lives.
Again, there's a barrier here between how you comport yourself online and then yourself in the real world, right? And more people spend their time looking at their phone and being kind of immersed in the digital world than they are in the real world. I'll tell you what, the real world is where you're going to get your sanity back, no matter what happens. And again, when you find me the article on the day when Trump goes, haha, psych, national abortion ban, even though it would be unconstitutional, he couldn't actually do that.
I would be the only one who's like, yes!
Mary's like, let's go!
Let's fucking go!
The point being, like, when you can show me where that happens, then we can reassess and reevaluate the situation. But until then, go outside, walk your dog or your cat.
They say touch grass for a reason. I know it's trite. Another TikToker has warned women to delete their period tracking apps, not get married,
this was the single most.
Divorce their husbands if they voted for Trump, and create a plan of action, because now we live in the Handmaid's Tale.
They love the Handmaid's Tale.
This is a longer one, but we'll just stop when we feel hopeless.
The thing about deleting period track, that sent me. I was like,
I know, right?
I was like, if this would be the greatest satire I have ever seen in my entire life.
I took the morning to grieve. That's all the time we have. Now is your time to start making a plan.
She's like, I've got to go to work. I've got spreadsheets to make, and I've got people to fire because I'm middle management at a company.
I'm here to talk to you today. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to delete your period tracking app. I don't care what state you're in. Go into your history, take out a paper planner, write down your history so that you have it, because I know that you track it. You use it to track ovulation and all of that stuff.
Is this a thing that women do? Do they use period tracking apps?
Yes.
Well, the CIA has been all over that since day one. All of those were created by the CIA. Let's face it.
I doubt they care. Gotta be honest.
Look,
before you.
Every guy who's married should have this on their phone anyways, just so they can know when they have to be really, really nice to their wife anyways. They should have it on their phone to track their wife's menstrual cycle so they can know when they can make their jokes.
Delete the app, you're going to delete your data out of the app. That's not a sure way to make sure that they can't use it against you later, but it helps.
If you're ovulating, they're going to hunt you down and throw you in jail.
Or its prescription equivalent. If you are comfortable getting the prescription, you can go to your doctor, and sometimes you can get it for free. That version, I think, is called Ella. And then if you are not comfortable or unable to do that with your doctor, go get Plan B in cash at your local pharmacy. I don't care if you don't need it right now, just keep it on your shelf. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to follow creators like Jessica Valenti. She talks about abortion in her newsletter, Abortion Every Day. She is a godsend. I don't know how she does it. She is amazing.
I can't do this anymore. The look in her eyes, there's nothing behind those eyes. I saw some more 4B tweets, and actually some of them I was like, okay, they're kind of spitting.
Okay. Like what?
Maybe you're finally coming around to what conservatives have been telling you this whole time.
Like they accidentally found their way into a modest lifestyle?
The feminists are realizing that casual sex was a bad idea this whole time and that they need to arm themselves.
Mm-hmm.
This one said, stop having sex with men, period. Stop having sex with men you don't know, with men you can't verify will stay with you, with men who don't want to get people pregnant, with men who you think you can fix. All of them, stop having sex with men. They don't care about you. Now, I wouldn't say just never have sex, but I would say, yeah, like not having sex with men who don't care about you, who you wouldn't want to be the father of your child. That was already good advice when conservatives were telling you to do it before Trump won the election, but now you're finally listening. It's the horseshoe theory. And having sex with a man doesn't actually mean that he cares about you. That's not actually what that means. It just
No,
means that he wants to have sex with
The
you.
whole point of the invention of things like Plan B,
Yeah.
birth control, is that it allows men to do so without caring about you because the consequences are far less.
I think we have several
20s.
20s here. Does it start with VWit?
VWit, yep.
Hi, your fave Red Pill MGTOW Way fan. This stuff is everywhere right now, and we find it hilarious. Like, okay, women, feel free. Also, did you move into the GM studio? Same lighting, and I hate it. If you're ever on Discord, I can help. What studio?
I don't know what GM studio means.
I don't either. The Manic Mustache said...
We missed one above from Kilo Bravo. Says, I'm so annoyed about yet another thing for them to obnoxiously self-congratulate themselves for their own virtue signaling. For F's sake, what happened to diaries? That's a good... I mean, the point is now your diary is spewed out into the real world as if the whole world would have an opinion on it.
Because the internet encourages self-disclosure as a compulsion. The Manic Mustache said since PPC, you got it wrong, was on hiatus, me and the nephew started Batman Beyond. I recommend a timeless show with all the teen angst and eco-propaganda of the new millennium that I genuinely miss. Apparently, old man Bruce loves soup.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of commentary on corporatocracy and big business in that show to begin with. You should watch that. Also, if you can find the original The Dark Knight Returns animated movie, that's a very good one as well.
Another tweet here said, ladies, we need to start considering the 4B movement and give America a severely sharp birth rate decline. No marriage, no childbirth, no dating men, no sex with men. We can't let these men have the last laugh. We need to bite back.
These men are not interested in you anyways, and the ones that you're punishing are the ones that voted the same way you did.
This P word grabs back. Ladies, I'm being so for real when I say this. It's time to close off your wombs to males. This election proves now more than ever that they hate us and hate us proudly. Do not reward them. So you're basically admitting that you use sex to reward men for good behavior like they're animals?
Yep.
That sounds degrading for everyone involved. And that's what I've been trying to say to these hoes this whole time. And they never listened to me saying it. I guess that Trump winning the election was finally the last straw that convinced them, yeah, you should not be having sex with random men you don't know who you don't want to have children with. That's actually like the leading reason for unplanned pregnancies and abortions.
Yeah.
Is people not actually taking sex seriously. So I'm glad that they're finally coming around to that conclusion. If there's a silver lining to any of this, it's really hard to find, but I think it's that.
All right.
Let's read some super chats though, because we're like way behind.
Yep.
There's all from the very beginning. DC&C said 9-day vacation. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. We were just on a beach somewhere drinking pina coladas.
Loved to have a 9-day vacation. I mean, I am mildly insulted by that.
What kind of?
So here's the thing, guys. There was like somebody in the chat. So I was very petty before the show went live. And somebody in the chat put new crisis party sound. And I'm like, oh, you just want me to get all this shit done and just everything all at once. We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's petty culture crisis.
It absolutely is.
No, it's fine. What kind of vacation person are you, by the way?
Are
you a beach person? You're not a beach person.
So my entire life, I never went on, like, I traveled a lot for skating. So even vacation for me was technically work. So I don't really do
that
vacation. Like, I've never gone somewhere just to like go there and see the sights ever. Like, my family went on a couple of vacations that were not like, we had like an uncle who owned a cabin in
nice.
Like in Wisconsin, so we would go there in the summers, but we only went on a couple of like actual family vacations because we weren't like wealthy or anything. So like if you did it, it had to be money had to be saved up over a long period of time, and then we'd get like it wasn't just like the main family, it was like extended family would go to. So I don't really know how to I don't know how to sit still. Like, that's the first thing I learned when I got sober was like, oh, now I remember. I suck at sitting still and just doing nothing.
Well, now you're back to work, so you're
Yes.
getting back into your routine. You're very routine oriented.
Yep.
I love that for you. Shane H. Wilder, thank you to all of the crisis actors who prayed for my priest, Father Michael, this weekend during the 48-hour adoration vigil. His cancer is getting worse, but we have faith in God's will. God bless y'all.
Thank you.
I will be praying for his recovery, but after all, if he doesn't recover, like you said, we have faith in God's will.
Thank you to everyone who also prayed for him.
New Guy Don't Haze Me said, glad to have you guys back. Just curious, when it got to 3 each day last week, did it feel like something was missing from your lives?
I was pretty busy, so I wouldn't even know like when 3 o'clock came around. Like the one difference was like, so here it was much quieter, so it all felt like one time. Like it didn't feel like there was an actual passage of time. I'd look outside, it was dark all of a sudden. I'm like, holy crap.
We were in a weird limbo.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sucks to be everyone else here.
Own the Poet said, woo, welcome back, homie and homiette.
I'm okay with being homie. I don't know if you're okay with being homie yet.
I'm not.
Okay, let's do 2 more.
Emil said, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Potatoes for Seamus said, hi, Mary. Hi, Brett. But most importantly, hi, Chair.
Chair says hello.
Chair is looking so scrumptious today.
It's
hear me out.
It's like, wait, what,
hear me
what
out.
is it?
Chair
It's
is hot.
yeah, hear me out.
Yeah.
Do one
Hear me
more.
out. I have a crush on this chair. Greg Duvier said, Brett, read it like The Rock. Finally, PCC has come back to be your work background noise.
It would be
are you going to do
finally, it? PCC has come back to be your work. What was it? Work. Your background noise at work. I saw this funny story over the weekend, guys, where they said that the Trump administration, well, not the Trump administration, the Trump campaign, they wanted to do the interview with The Undertaker specifically for the reason that they could make it like a wrestling angle because Batista was all in for Harris Walls, and it absolutely paid off for them because they got a bunch of people that might not be interested in voting to go out and
They're
vote.
mostly apolitical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Connecting through their hobbies.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact. Let's talk about Wicked.
Currently, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are on the press tour for Wicked. They just had the Wicked premiere the other night, and they're doing all of these interviews that I find truly disturbing. These women are emotionally dysregulated. They are bursting into tears. I don't know if it's the sleep deprivation, if they're on some cocktail of SSRIs and birth control, or what's going on right now, but they are crying in just about damn near every single one of these interviews about the movie, and it's not anything that makes me want to go see a movie any more or less. It's just weird that they can't contain themselves, and it's not really giving happy tears. It's actually, you're just like super emotionally unstable tears.
Yeah.
So in this interview, they asked Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo this question: in what way has the person sitting next to you changed you for good? Let's take a look at that first video, because
bro, they haven't even known each other that long.
I swear, like, I don't think they have, but it basically incapacitated Ariana Grande. Like, she could not speak.
Well, yeah. I think we found a little piece of ourselves in each other. I think there are little pieces of us that when we got to do this together, when we first started, each of us was missing like a little chunk. And I think we've been able to see in each other a bit of a reflection. And so I think I've gotten a little bit of her softness, and she's got
her strength,
a little bit of my strength.
Yeah.
Bro, what does that even mean?
And what does this have to do with the movie? Again, this is what I was saying about Anna Kendrick promoting Women of the Hour, where she's like going on this whole tangent about her ex-boyfriend being emotionally manipulative, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what does this have to do with the movie, lady?
The funniest part about this is the evil people like behind the scenes who are setting up all of the interviews. That
I know, they're trying to do it now.
No, you know what they did? You know what they did? The people who are running the marketing campaign for this movie, They got the period tracker on their phones, and they're tracking their menstrual cycles to make sure the interviews fall when these women are on their period.
They're putting tear gas in the ventilation ducts to create these viral moments. In another one, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo apologize for crying in all of the Wicked interviews and then start crying again while apologizing for crying.
No, we're not gonna. We can't. We're not.
No, you get. No.
We can't.
No, you're gonna do it.
We've cried 500 times today.
We've done it
today.
a lot. We've done
no,
today.
and honestly, this is a PSA. So sorry,
I'm
guys.
it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it.
I can't imagine. And you know what? If you're in the comments saying how annoying it is, I'll say it first.
We can't help it.
I've said
it's
it
not
first.
on purpose.
I'm annoyed. I'm tired. My tears.
We are tired. I can't even. I felt the same thing outside. I was like,
do not do it here.
Tired.
Do not do it here. I don't cry before 4 p.m.
We can't do it. But
Maybe they're allergic to something in their acrylic nails.
Maybe.
It's 6 in the morning.
We are not doing it.
But we just had our own private cry in the parking lot.
Just because we've like come through like a massive thing, and we've really stuck together.
Yeah, the stuff you don't see is the most special stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa! Stop!
Whoa!
Jesus Christ!
Don't do it!
I'm leaving.
Don't do it! Stop, you guys!
You can't leave. You can't.
No, you're gonna make the gays nervous. The gays are getting nervous. Look, your makeup artist is like sweating over there. Do not come in here. Don't you dare, Daryl.
No, we're not.
Okay. To be fair, this is a theater kid movie.
It's so theater kid. Actually, in this other interview that they did together, the interviewer is also crying, saying that it meant so much to her as a theater kid to watch this movie, and then everyone started crying. Like, I just can't do it with these overgrown theater kids that have taken over our society.
There's a 20 there.
This one was from award-winning blank. I will gladly give up both my 2011 and 2013 finalist awards if it means not having to miss Pop Culture Crisis like last week. Glad to have you guys back. We're glad to be back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Here we go.
Cynthia, you fucking did it, babe. Babe, like, from an alphabet, from an autistic alphabet, oh my God, you did it.
An autistic alphabet?
Alphabet? Hold on. Internet's being slow right now.
Maybe they're trying to stop us from showing these clips.
Could be.
Because it's so embarrassing.
I want to look you both in the eye and say you did it. You really did it. Thank you so much from a nerdy theatre kid.
Okay, we keep getting a delay on this one. Not sure what that's about.
They're trying to stop us. They're trying to censor us.
Yeah. Okay.
I think she was trying to say that because Cynthia Erivo is neurodivergent, she is representing other neurodivergent theater kids.
Okay. Look, whatever.
And you're like, what, 40? Ariana Grande also tears up in another interview where she is promoting Wicked. I forget who this was with. iHeartRadio.
Okay, we'll try this one. If we keep getting delays again, we're not gonna worry about it.
Hopefully we don't have internet
Like,
issues.
I just feel like it's so amazing to see someone do something they were born to do. Like, and I don't know, I've always felt like, especially because you've been such a good sister to my sister, like, I just like want you to be happy, and I root for you.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Man, oh my God, okay.
I feel like this is like what you do. You're such an available, open, and emotional person, and I deeply.
We're so far away. That was weird, but but thank you for taking the risk.
By the way, you yanked her down.
Also, I think my chair is like cemented to the ground.
I'm telling you, like.
Okay.
Ariana jokingly responded to people complaining about how often they're crying in these interviews, saying, "We're sorry, our tear ducts need a damn break." Do you think, like I do, that this just comes off as phony as shit?
Yeah, like I've made
it's faux vulnerability for marketing purposes.
I've made the point before. It's like there's a difference. Like I don't even really buy it when people do it with their phone in their room when they set up the tripod and stuff like that. To me, there's actually something unbelievably nefarious about the idea of doing so regularly. First of all, it strips the meaning behind actual moments, of vulnerability. But if
Can
all
you
it is,
imagine if we like cried on this show? Like that would never happen.
No, like first of all, like when I look at a set like this, which is there's lights on you, there's cameras on you, you're aware of everything that's there. I guess it actually speaks to their ability to be open and emotionally vulnerable, depending on how you take that as whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But that's kind of the core of being an actor, right? Is they have to allow themselves to strip away their sense of their guard and let themselves be emotionally vulnerable in all situations, which is why I oftentimes, if I'm going to give you the best argument from the other side, is like, look, I don't think acting as a whole is easy. I think that what they have to do is actually tremendously difficult to be able to find a character, inhabit that character, remove all of who you are from that role, and then give a performance that speaks to people. That's not necessarily easy, but what we're seeing is not that.
Well,
what we're seeing is just a bunch of people crying for the sake, like they're not even talking about anything that's super emotional.
They're not
like,
even talking about the movie, which is the most important part, right? That's why you're doing all of these interviews, is to sell the movie to people who might not be convinced yet to go see it. And I'm one of those people, right?
Yeah.
I find all of this disturbing. And her emotional outbursts aside, I did want to say something positive about Ariana Grande, and she did exactly what you just said. She deleted, she actually said this in one of these interviews. She said she deleted as much about Ariana Grande as she possibly could to embody the role of Glinda in the movie.
That's important.
That's why she completely changed her appearance. She completely changed her voice and essentially did a version of method acting to embody this role. But now I feel like the mythology around this movie has gone completely off the rails, where fans are saying doing this movie like healed Ariana Grande's trauma from her childhood. Or
look, it's perfect marketing for women and theater kids.
Like, what does that even mean? But they won't explain what it means. And they're saying that Ariana has been dreaming about this for her entire life, and this is like her crowning achievement. She's gonna get an EGOT, and now she's gonna be happy forever because she played Glinda. Like, what? I can we just talk about the movie? Can you just sell me the movie?
Yeah. There's
make that interesting to me, not yourself mythologizing about how you got the role.
If I'm being fair to them, this is probably the exact type of marketing this movie should be doing.
I guess I'm in the wrong here, and I'm just not the target demo.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, me and you are not the people that are that this movie is designed for. So this marketing absolutely speaks to the emotionally vulnerable, hyperbolic theater kid that would absolutely look at a performance like this and take that much meaning out of it. So if the idea is that we're judging them on whether they're doing their jobs right, they are.
Did you have a negative opinion of the theater kids when you were in school?
I didn't think of theater kids when I was in school.
You didn't have any friends who were into that type of thing?
I had no opinion. I barely have opinions now on theater kids, other than the fact that it kind of comes through with actors and stuff like that, but it's not something I ever thought about.
My high school didn't have a football team. We didn't have a lot of things, but we definitely had a big theater program. I was not a part of it, but a lot of people were.
Seems like you would make fun of the theater kids, even back then.
You know, behind closed doors, but you know, they were nice and everything, but everyone knows that the kids who are in theater are the most dramatic off stage.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. So that's the kind of behavior we're seeing here. You also drew my attention to this insane story about one of the product placements for Wicked.
They done messed up.
Mattel released a Wicked Barbie doll of Glinda the Good Witch, and unfortunately, on the back of the package, they accidentally linked to a porn site.
Womp, womp, womp.
On the box for a children's toy, they accidentally linked to www.wicked.com, which I didn't know until the other day is actually a porn site. They were supposed to put wickedmovie.com.
Somebody at Mattel is getting fired, ladies and gentlemen.
Someone is going to get a stern talking to at the very least.
Look, how does this not make it through some type of standards and practices?
That is crazy.
I did see people who were saying, does anybody believe that this was an accident? Yes, I absolutely believe that this was an accident. I don't believe for a second that they did this on purpose. It just happens to be for the precisely wrong product to make this mistake.
Right. And then this is after they made that awful pink and green mac and cheese. The product placement for this movie has been really disturbing in and of itself. aside from any of the weird interviews. But now the film has had to release a statement, or no, I'm sorry, Mattel had to release a statement apologizing because, you know, they have a family-friendly image. They said Mattel was made aware of a misprint on the packaging of Wicked collection dolls primarily sold in the US, which intended to direct consumers to the official wickedmovie.com landing page. We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this. Parents are advised that the misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children. Consumers who already have the product are advised to discard the product packaging or obscure the link and may contact Mattel customer service for further information.
Maybe the funniest part about all of this is it says that they are particularly famous for their porn parodies of Hollywood movies.
Oh, really? That makes it so much more ironic.
Okay, let's kind of walk it back. Are there any children or adults who go to a website based on the packaging on the back of a, you know?
No, but I can guarantee you that
they're going to get sued.
The misprinted packaging is going to become a collector's item worth so much money. So if you guys run over to Target or whatever and buy some of these misprints, you might get money for it on eBay later on. Who knows?
Like, the upside to this is that Hollywood does absolutely crap with merch these days, so they're probably not selling that many anyways, so it's probably going to be fine. Right. I couldn't believe when I saw this. I was like, look, this is the worst movie, the worst demo, because you're marketing to kids. This wasn't like on a package of makeup that's going to be bought by adults. This was on dolls that are meant for children.
It's the worst twist of events for this movie.
Who's getting fired?
Are they trying to get kids to watch this? Like, is this a kid-friendly movie?
I mean, it's projected to make about 80 million opening weekend, and I imagine that means that a lot of, parents with kids, theater kids maybe, are going to go and see this movie together. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I don't know how you're going to get a kid to sit still for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
That's so self-indulgent.
Yep.
I think that's the key. That's the key marker for a theater kid, is the self-indulgence of how, dramatic they behave. It's like constantly.
How long you can't cut the movie down any longer. Like, it has to be 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
It's like, because it's all like, you can't dispense with any of it.
All of it's important. You need every scene.
Every single scene, every second of the movie couldn't be spared.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
All right, we're going to finish up these Super Chats. This one's from Emil saying Carter. What's Carter?
I don't know about Carter, but I thanked Carter earlier because Carter was a huge help.
I was wondering, like, did he
studio.
poke his head in or something?
Maybe he did. I don't know.
I don't know. Suringo Productions said, "Let's go. We're so back. Minus money." Crying face.
Yeah, the money will be back tomorrow.
Daniel Kiesau. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. Hooray for the return of Mary the Based, calling out promiscuous women and their need for D appointments. Oh, and Brett's back too. They really are out of control. It's kind of insane. They're all nymphomaniacs, and they're the ones who want to do a sex strike?
Yeah.
You actually are, like, obsessed with men. Like, all of these women are so obsessed with men, they can barely even hide it. And it's been women on the conservative side of things this whole time who actually don't center their lives around men because they don't need to get validation from random hookups with men.
Yep.
So it's like, who's really living the more, like, feminist lifestyle? Whatever.
That would require a level of introspection that I don't think they're going to do.
Critical thought, which they don't have. Pete Donovan said, "Welcome back, guys. With Timcast and Daily Wire having done their election live stream collaboration, will they be joining forces to form the Chicken Wire? And will Ian get his own show for 50 million? You'd have to ask Ian that. And I don't know anything about the Chicken Wire, but it sounds like something I would watch. So, good idea. Red Snow said, "PCC is back. Praise be to Space King."
Yes, indeed.
We are back. So back, indeed. Shane H. Wilder said, "New studio, new president. The bells of Notre Dame are ringing again. Are we ever going to get tired of winning? Love the new lighting. It's fire." It seems like everybody's been hating.
Yeah.
You guys don't like the new lighting?
You'll have to let us know. I mean, it's going to take some time to
We'll be tweaking it here and there, I'm sure.
Yep.
But I think for a first try, not bad. Not bad at all.
Look, life is long. There's a lot of shows that got to happen, so it'll all work out.
Ezek said, "Are you guys aware the Wicked Toys put a porn site domain on the back? I
Yes,
just
sir.
got here. Did I miss you speak about it?" That was for later in the show, but yes, we just did. Weary Traveler said, "A fake Money Show shirt would be legit. I would buy it in a heartbeat, but it has to be pink. Maybe we'll do multiple colors then. We're gonna let Jessica know."
Yeah, we'll have to. Jessica was just
Fake Money
messaging
Show.
me anyway, so yeah, we should send her a message. Jessica, we need a fake money show. Sure.
That's our alternate universe PCC. Angel Becerra, I think, said season 2 usually can't watch live, but CCP, let's effing go. Let's effing go.
Yep.
Pat the Plumber said, "I like the wider angles. I can see more of my hero, Brett Dasovic."
Well, yes, of course. I'm many a people's hero.
Well, you'll get more of our shirts, our black shirts, which are
Yes.
super visually interesting. Pop Culture Junkie said, "Brett and Mary, I actually kind of miss the money. What does that say about me?" Yeah, I mean, I think it's really the only reason why anybody watches this show.
For the money guns?
Yeah,
Of course.
It's obviously the money guns. We're just kind of, you know.
Ancillary is the word.
Yeah, we're just accessories on set.
Yep.
Big Dave sent us 99 cents without a message. Thank
you, Big Dave, as always.
Red Snow said, "Ladies are allergic to space."
So they don't like to go to space, but one of the people up there that was up in the International Space Station that got abandoned and then rescued later. I don't know if they've been rescued yet. Was a lady. So apparently,
Oh yeah,
ladies
they're
aren't
still
allergic
out
to
there,
space.
right?
Yeah, they are.
They're still stuck.
Oh no, I don't know. I does anybody know in the chat? Have they saved them yet?
If Biden doesn't save them before Elon, it's going to be a national embarrassment.
Well, no, Elon's scheduled to save them. It's not going to be NASA. It's going to be
Right.
SpaceX.
Very embarrassing. These bitches want Nikes, said air horn remix of Ode to Joy intensifies in the background. What? I guess I haven't heard that before. Red Snow said, "Put a Mr. Fluffykins on."
Well, there's no Mr. Fluffykins here right now.
He's in a better place. Trust me. Uncle Lou said, "Democrats haven't been this mad since Lincoln freed the slaves."
True.
Except 2016.
Yeah.
I think 2016 really was more of a melty than this year.
I wasn't paying as close attention, so now it just I was like, why are they still freaking out? They've already been through this once.
Right, there's nothing speculative about what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Relax. Emil said, "Aspirations, get rich, have a family, settle down." Those sound like great aspirations. I wish you the best of luck. High Voltage 75 said, "R.I.P. Mr. Fluffykins, R.I.P. Leonardo sketch."
It's really funny. I just saw the other day that Leonardo DiCaprio turned 50, right? So now you can do the half year.
Whoa. I thought he was already like 60.
No, I think he just turned 50, which means you can do half your age plus 7 really easy for him right now.
Oh, yeah. It makes everything easier.
30
Is he still with Vittoria Coretti or whatever her name was? She did turn 26.
It's not 32, which is the half your age plus 7, but you know.
Yeah. Brewmaster Monk said Joker 2 was unironically great. It does not bode well for our culture that there's no appetite or patience for tragedy. Hollywood had to reverse the damage they did with Ledger's cool terrorist Joker. I strongly disagree.
In what way?
I don't think... Well, did you see that part where he says there's no appetite or patience for tragedy? That's like actually the only thing people want is like tragedy and trauma porn anymore.
I mean,
But
that seems to be all that people want to do.
the
for
message of it
themselves,
is nihilistic.
Yeah.
Right? There's this idea that all tragedy has to ultimately be meaningless, and that was, I think, the message of Joker 2.
Yeah.
Everyone's perfectly fine with tragedy being involved in any human story. It just has to have meaning. And in this one, it was just a humiliation ritual, as far as I could tell.
I mean, I think people who, if somebody hasn't seen the original or didn't pay attention, not hasn't seen the original, if you weren't paying attention to what the backlash to that movie was like, you might not take it that way.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I also miss the moment that the first Joker came out. That time before COVID, and you were still going to the movie theater once in a while.
I mean, the box office this year is still 27% under what it was in 2019. So
yeah, it was a much different time. Times have changed very, very fast. Jason Dixon said, I watched Venom. It feels like a lot of behind-the-scenes editing to salvage was made to protect the brand.
I mean, maybe. We're going to have to see what happens when Kraven the Hunter comes out this year. Sony is struggling right now to get their foot in the door as far as their superhero movies, which is funny because, you know, they own Spider-Man, so they make a lot of money. They just make it by leasing him out to Marvel.
Shane H. Wilder said, I looked up cult classics by year, and the cutoff seems to be 2015, around the time of It Follows. The only modern one I could think of is Blood and Honey.
That's
Well,
not even a cult
no.
classic. That's just a B movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It Follows? Is that the one where it's like a sexually transmitted demon?
Which one?
It Follows?
I think so.
I thought that concept was really interesting, but I never watched it.
Corner talked about it with us, maybe off air.
Yeah, I never watched it because I don't want to be scared, but it definitely seemed interesting enough. I would give it a chance. Pat the Plumber said, Pig will be a cult classic. Nick Cage is awesome.
That's that one about... Oh, I saw something about that recently. I'll look it up. Keep reading.
Red Snow said that Billie Eyelash girl said what now? She's saying a lot of words that don't mean anything. Don't worry about it. Surinko Productions said Trump doesn't hate women. He hates women.
Ah, yes.
Like B.E.?
I didn't see Pig.
Billie
It came out in 2021. A truffle hunter who lives alone in Oregon, in the Oregon wilderness, must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she is kidnapped. So he had a pig. It was kidnapped, and he must go find it.
It's kind of a John Wick
I hope
animus
so.
behind the story. D-Man said they're eating the cats. Context needed. They, New York law enforcement, are actually killing the squirrels.
Yep.
They are. R.I.P. Peanut.
Yeah.
You will be missed. Gone too soon.
And was it
Fred the raccoon
Fred
as well. Not to forget Fred. Pat the Plumber said Project 2025. Let's go. Honestly, I haven't read Project 2025, so I don't even know what we're all talking about.
See, the problem with the internet is the amount of trolling that went on after the election probably set back any chance of reconciliation with opposite political parties like 10 years.
What do we have left to
I
lose,
know,
though?
It made me laugh because
they were all like, "That it's jokes on you. Project 2025 was the plan this whole time."
I was like, I get it, but man, you're just making it harder on everybody else.
The "Your body, my choice" meme. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not funny. Trolling at its finest.
But the problem is the other side doesn't know what trolling is or doesn't know how to clock it.
Right. But they never will anyway.
To be fair, like, am I supposed to expect them to understand when niche right-wing political people are trolling? Whatever. I mean, people on the right fall for the right wing for trolls all the time.
True.
People fall for Angela Bel Camino all the time.
It's crazy.
Constantly.
She's been around for so many years and nobody gets that she's a troll yet.
And not even just hers.
A Serious Man said abortion was on the ballot in Arizona and Nevada. The people elected Trump and enshrined abortion rights into state law. You can have both. What my point is that it wasn't on the ballot as in it's going to get federally banned. Yeah. Like that wasn't what people were voting for. They were voting on amendments in their own states. Greg Duvier said Billie Eilish says anti-Trump thing in Tennessee. That is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how that works out.
No, look, people were like...
Her fans loved it,
Yeah, like,
though.
people were like, just, you can't imagine that everyone in one state thinks the same way. There's millions of people in every state that
especially in a city.
Yeah.
In Tennessee, okay, sure. In Nashville, though?
Yeah.
Lots of liberals in any big city. Rhaegar Targaryen said every time Ariana Grande's name comes up in media, it should be phrased, Ariana Grande, the woman who once licked a donut and put it back. Well, it wasn't even just that. At the time, she said she hates America. Or did she say she hates Americans?
I don't remember. That was before...
that was her first big scandal. Well, she also is a home wrecker, so I think that's slightly worse.
She who dates SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gordon Shumway said, I have friends freaking out on social media because some idiot trolls are saying your body, my choice. So dramatic, they need to touch grass. I mean, if they're freaking out, like, it's just the easiest way to bait them. So I don't know if it's like inevitable they're going to think what they're going to think anyway. We might as well make jokes. right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same discussion we had about whether, like, whenever Trump says something that they can turn on its face and make it like an issue for him and take him out of context and say it as if it's the most hyperbolic thing ever. You can't live your life playing defense. You have to eventually just do what you're going to do and find your way to fight back when they try to misrepresent you. But when it comes to trolling, it's like every time I see one of those posts, I laugh, but I'm like, and now some other person who disagrees with you is going to look at this and think of that as the real thing.
But this is also just my opinion. It is not your body, your choice. Your body does not fundamentally belong to you. And your government, your community, your family, your spouse, all of these actors, they completely justified and within their rights to make choices about what you do with your body. And that's always going to be my polemic on that.
Yeah.
It's never just your body, your choice. Rusty Shackelford said, is 5B the female version of MGTOW?
Yes, kind of.
Essentially, but it's like almost more extreme. They won't even interact with men. John Paul III said they need to go further with 4B, make men desperate, illegalize corn. And if you are gonna let a man in your life, he has to pay 100% of the bills. Oh, we're gonna get like trad wife territory here with 4B goes too far.
They're like, I'm splitting the bills with you, and that's as far as I go.
Shane H. Wilder said because of 4B, Planned Parenthood will go bankrupt. Nice. The earth is healing.
I did see something about that. Yeah.
Surinko Production. I mean, it's like if only they would take their own advice.
Yeah.
Surinko Productions said all these women becoming celibate after the law change, even though the laws have been shifting more pro, proves that morality can flow from laws. Definitely, yes. I think that if abortion were less legally accessible, promiscuity would definitely shrink.
Go down.
Mm-hmm.
Natural byproduct.
Yes. Infamous Eli said, so femicels.
Femcells.
They're femcells.
Yeah.
But they're like fem-vol cells. Can't think of a name said there is something very beautiful about ugly woke women deciding to not have sex and risk passing their degenerate genes to the future generations.
I always make the argument that it doesn't matter because they don't give birth, they recruit through your schools and your colleges and through the internet.
And I want these ladies to come to their senses and be normal people and have children and be happy. Like, I genuinely want that for them. They just don't want it for themselves. Pat the Plumber said, kind of seems like we do have control, lady. What? I don't know the context, sorry. Edmundo Jr. Petruzziello said, markets are up, celebs are realizing they're out-of-touch circus monkeys, and now women are beginning to practice abstinence. Trump's victory is the gift that keeps on giving. LFG and welcome back, PCC.
I don't actually believe that the celebrities are self-aware enough to realize that they're out of touch.
But I think it is still a white pill, to realize that they have so little sway over normal people. Surinko Productions said, why do they all have the SSR eyes? LMAO.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually see it because people have accused me of the same thing, and I'm definitely not on any medications. But they do have a profound emptiness behind their eyes. A Magic Monkey said, I can't believe you took an entire mental health week for shame. First you get a new thumbnail, then a new icon, and now a new studio. Make it stop. Well, we got a full-on makeover, and I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have a fresh start. Fresh starts all around.
Revived.
Mm-hmm. Grofty said GM Studio equals gamer maids.
Oh.
So
he doesn't like the lighting in here because he thinks it's like this, like the gamer maids.
What's
space.
their color? I don't know.
I mean, these were our colors first.
Yeah, we claimed them.
Yeah. We claim these colors.
Ben said, have you guys covered Matka? Women are on TikTok promoting poisoning men who voted for Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
What does the T stand for? I forget. It's some obscure poison that is from like ancient Egypt or something. And they're all like talking about murdering their husbands. Like, if you genuinely had plans to murder your husband, which obviously you shouldn't, but if you did, would you not like post about it on TikTok? Like, that's kind of surefire way to get caught.
Yep. Yeah, but Trump is going to get a new...
There were no red flags.
But I saw that Trump was promoting the idea of like a digital Bill of Rights and like digital due process. So if any of these ladies actually do it, they will not be shadow banned or banned.
Like, hey, it was satire.
Yep.
I don't know who poisoned my husband. Rhaegar Targaryen said, didn't women already do this in 2016 when Trump won before? With the women's marches, all the shrill yelling happening downtown on Inauguration Day?
And yet nothing has changed.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said, apparently if you're over 155, Plan B doesn't work. Yeah,
you have to take 2.
Some of them promoting
I saw that.
Plan B, telling the bigger girls you got to take 2 to make sure it works.
I laughed so hard when I saw that.
Very dark. Omega Red fan said, Salem witch trials, history repeats itself.
You know what I need to try? So there was a show that came out in 2014 with who was the actor? The dude from Nikita. It's called Salem, and I remember watching the first season and thinking it was really good, and then it was one of those things where there was so much stuff coming out at that time that I just fell off. Maybe I gotta rewatch that. Salem was really good. Shane West.
Have you ever thought about watching The Handmaid's Tale? Thank you. Which one is that?
6.
Thank you.
I wonder if it has like a body positive warning on the back that says like over a certain size you need 100 and you need 2 of them.
You're still on that.
Yeah.
Still
I'm back to that.
Kind of in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary, given your past opinions combined with the election and 4B, you will be perceived 10 years from now as being ahead of your time. I would hope so.
Of course.
I mean, at least 10 years ahead of my time.
The Nostradamus of women's
women's mental illness. Yeah. V-Wit said, crying is emotional manipulation unless your mom or dog dies, and if you a good cat, to quote the late great Tom Hanks, there's no crying in baseball.
I mean, I think it's like, look, if you're a dude, you shouldn't be crying unless it's a very, very big thing like that. You know, your dad or your mom, a family member dies. And even then, you know, keep it to a minimum as best you can.
Yeah, but
that's my own. That's my own philosophy.
Okay, when people say that, they make it seem like men want to cry as much as women want to cry, but they don't.
But for women are expected to cry more. But there's still a point where it becomes emotional manipulation.
Yeah, definitely a point where it becomes cringe too. Corey Anderson said Cynthia looks like Black Voldemort.
I mean, if I were her,
I don't disagree.
That would be kind of a flex.
Really?
Like if I was like, it sounds like a line a rapper would use.
Black Voldemort.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Like, I don't know if I've never, like, she was a stage actress first, so I don't know.
Never heard of her
I don't know her work. She could, for all we know, it's the best performance ever. I don't know.
Shane H. Wilder said, I checked at Walmart yesterday. Yup, wicked porn parody Barbie was on the shelves. Strangely enough, people were also buying the Wicked mac and cheese.
That's disturbing. That's the most disturbing thing you've said so far.
Why would you subject yourself to that? The pink one honestly was worse than the green one.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Right?
Far worse. So
it's like fleshy.
The pink one looked like vomit. Like you like puked it back up. The green one just looked like a gross novelty product. The pink one looked like
you ate the Kraft mac and cheese with your Pepto-Bismol and then it all came up.
Please don't ever say that again. That was disgusting.
Gordon Shumway said, if only the celebrities threatening to leave and the thoughts threatening to go through 4B were sincere, society would be so much better.
Yeah.
Well, you said you saw one person follow through on their threat to move to Canada.
It wasn't a celebrity,
right?
but yeah, it was like this couple like shows their passport, shows them getting into their car, and then it's like a video of them at the Canadian border. I'm like, respect.
Good.
You followed through. Good for you.
Pop Culture Junkie said, I've called my attorney to trademark the fake money show. I'll sell it back to you for one of the t-shirts.
Nah.
That sounds fair. Yeah. Wooby Fun Time said, wiener out.
Well, okay then.
Cool. Shane H. Wilder said the hoes not being promiscuous will be a great comedy in the vein of Aristophanes' Lysistrata. Look it up as an ancient Greek comedy.
Aristophanes Lysistrata. What is that?
Lysistrata.
Lysistrata is why I'm so glad you read the super chats. Thank you.
I think I was forced to read that at least a couple of times in school, but I don't remember anything about it. V. Witt said nihilists feel nothing. Look at psychology. Wouldn't that be a sociopath? Nihilism is more of a philosophy.
Nihilism
Or
is...
stoicism is more of a philosophy as
I
well.
do believe that one of the issues with modernity is just this intense focus on nihilism. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that despite the mental health crisis going on in the country, there's a lot less actual challenges that we face on a daily basis, meaning that, sure, we're not going to own a home and it's a struggle to pay the bills sometimes. But for the most part, your life is not in danger each and every day. Like you're not hunting for your food, foraging and looking for shelter. So the ease in which we live, even if we're not financially secure like past generations, the ease in which we live means that we have this intense focus on other things that are more metaphysical or psychological. And when you focus on those so intensely, it's a problem you can't solve in the moment, which leads to nihilism.
I think if you had to guess, the nihilists are more emotionally charged people than not, because in the philosophy of nihilism, your subjective experience and your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own perception is the only thing that matters. It's tantamount above everything else.
There's a 20 there.
This one's from VWit. I read The Handmaid's Tale. Spoiler, read first and not straight out. It takes place in New York, and she escapes the rest of the U.S. and lives a full life outside of the New York lib echo chamber. It's silly that feminists are so liberal. I'm not familiar with it at all, but I feel like it would be interesting if it weren't so misinterpreted.
Can't believe nobody's made a slutty Handmaid's Tale Halloween costume yet.
Oh, they most definitely have.
That has to exist, right?
Most definitely, yes. Pete Donovan said, is Lady Bird not a cult classic?
I suppose.
I almost actually said Lady
Did
Bird
you?
because
Okay.
I knew it came out in 2017, I think. And a lot of people do consider it a cult classic now. I don't think it should be, though, because it really wasn't that good. Shane H. Wilder said Project 2025 will make live PCC viewing mandatory.
As it should.
Yeah, of course. You should have your eyes mechanically pried open.
No. What it is
the entire runtime of the
after
show.
all the work that Elon just did to help Trump get elected, he's going to get a government contract to put Neuralink in everyone's brains. And then with Project 2025 at 3 p.m., no matter what you're doing, your eyes will just start showing you PCC and you won't have a choice otherwise. Yep,
mandatory cringe, mandatory brain rot. Pete Donovan said, Brett, have you been following the Oasis reunion saga? The ticket price scandal part of it alone made international news, and now Noelle and Liam won't be paid per concert until they've played each one.
I didn't know that. That's really funny. I'm surprised that they're able to even get along well enough to do the concerts.
Are they that
at all.
unreliable?
I mean, they're that unreliable in the fact that they hate each other most of the time.
But why? Does anyone know why they hate each other? Like, what's the rift?
People in the chat would probably be able to tell you better than me. It's one of those things where I follow it about as closely as it takes to when I'm doing research for the show. I'll scan Lad Bible, and there's always inevitably something being said about Noel Gallagher or Liam being mean to each other.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Incompetent Hands said, in space, no one can hear you scream. This is obviously why, and last week proved space gives women the ick. Amendment 4 didn't pass in Florida. You're welcome.
There you go.
You voted against it, I'm guessing. Professor Freakoff said, I love feeding into liberal paranoia.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's
I guess
kind of the only thrill we have left. Surenko Productions said, actually, Ariana Grande said both I hate Americans and I hate America. LOL, she was actually complaining about how fat Americans are, so based. Yeah, I knew it was something related to, like, calling Americans fat because she was in a donut shop.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to lick this donut, but I'm not going to eat it. Ew.
that was her own version of, like, Stop Being Poor. The
Right.
fake shirt that Paris Hilton was not wearing.
Right. Paris Hilton has always been far smarter than people give her credit for. Shane H. Wilder said the 2 times and 3 times Handmaid's Tale outfits are sold out.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the recommended sizing, you know. Red Snow said, try to eat my cat, see what happens.
Don't do it.
Don't. So what you mean is, like, don't try it.
Yeah.
If you know what's good for you. Are we all caught up on the super chats?
2 more. One from Shane H. Wilder and one from Red Snow.
I don't see them yet.
Shane H. Wilder says, hey, I didn't buy the mac and cheese. I'm crazy, not insane. Also, what was that? Lysistrata? was about a woman withholding sex to end the Peloponnesian War.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That rings a bell for sure.
And Red Snow says, is the mandatory PCC at least ad-free? Yes, of course. Yeah. And one more from Pop Culture Junkie says, just did a trademark search for the fake money show. No prior use. The nearest is show me the money. Okay. All right.
So
then.
we're in the clear.
We're in the clear. All right, guys. Before we go, would you please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. If you are new here, which I did see a lot of new faces in the audience, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will join us every day we are live, which is, like I said, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch, you can rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, so go ahead and do that. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. I think there's one more there. You got that one?
Rhaegar Targaryen said box office bomb Chirac borrowed from Lysistrata.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, thank you again so much for bearing with us after a week out of town. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.